Coming right up on the hour now. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Gary Lucas on Tuesday. This is you could call it a podcast. I don't know. It's my 3 times a week live stream on Facebook, playing for you. And let's just get right down to it. Rage Against the Dying of Life. Okay, 20 minutes on. Almost 20 minutes. And I'm just getting warmed up. But anyway, thank you for listening and being here today. It's a beautiful, brilliant day here in New York City. It's actually one of the sunniest, brightest days, but very, very cold. But sometimes that's the way I like it. I grew up in the snow belt in upstate New York, in Syracuse. So we used to count the days till we would get a really good snow day. And we don't seem to have too many of them, anymore here in New York City anyway. But maybe Friday things will change because it's predicted 2 to 3 inches. But that's what they predicted for yesterday, and it never arrived here. So sorry to say. But I love to get that feeling of being snowed in and in a warm spot. So let's see, how have you spent your New Year's in the last few days? We've consumed a heck of a lot of audio and visual stimuli. I was lucky enough that my friend Mitch Blank, the only sane Dylanologist out there, was able to procure a copy, or 3 copies, or 3 parts of the Beatles series, which I never like to really check these out at the same time as everyone else does, so you can have something to talk about. I prefer to enjoy it later on in the privacy of my own mind and at my own time. So finally we got around, Carolyn and I, to looking at them, and it was pretty well done. I gotta say, Peter Jackson did an excellent job. And so we spent 8 hours plus living with the Beatles in the making of that Let It Be album, and it was definitely a fun ride and instructive. It had its longers, I would say. Some of the meetings that they held towards the end, for the benefit of the camera, definitely seemed, everybody was putting the best face on it they could. And George did point out, you all don't talk like this when the camera's around, basically. So you have to take it off with a grain of salt. But they got a little salty towards the end, and kicked into a little profanity and real time behavior there. So it was great. And then to see, I saw it when it came out in a drive-in theater. I saw Let It Be in Syracuse, I think, in summer of '71, maybe. It was what it was. I'd read about the famous fight where George quits, and here it was, and it wasn't terribly dramatic, but it was a good place to end part 1, and of course, he got wooed back, but none of them seemed very interested in doing his songs, did they? And he kind of had the last laugh on them all, because I would say All Things Must Pass definitely is the standout solo album of any Beatle that ever came out. At any point, it was monumental. Even the extra album of jams and everything was worth listening to. So George had a point, I think, in trying to go forward and make his own statements. And so I think it's an instructive model for anybody trying to do anything creatively. Collaborations are great. Now, I just spent, half an hour on a Zoom call with my partner, Peter Willems, and the head of the label that's releasing our new album in a few weeks, and that would be Double Dare, Gary Lucas and Peter Willems. This is an album that was basically recorded during lockdown in the first year, right around the Halloween period. I was able to get a couple of gigs that did not fall through, albeit they were done in an extremely socially distanced, procedural kind of thingy, so that I was just playing with Peter to the cameras and technicians in a beautiful space in Eindhoven, the Concertgebouw. And that was a lot of fun. But then we dug in and went into a studio in Maastricht, where I was based until mid-November, and did some serious recording. We did a little recording in Eindhoven too. So part of the record, Volume 1, came out a month or so ago digitally, but there's going to be an actual physical release on CD. Hopefully it'll be out next month, as will Volume 2 digitally, and then the whole shebang is going to come out on vinyl. And presumably we'll get gigs aplenty, isn't that what everybody's going for? Well, let's just hope that they roll back the variant. And I don't even want to dwell on that. I'm just trying to stay optimistic, because as you know, I do love to gig. And it was so much fun playing with Peter a month or so ago in Holland. We had a couple of dates. One got blown out because of the level spiking. But the ones that we did do were super fun. And I love it because a lot of this project is improvised. I mean, we had set recordings that were planned out with chunks of improvisation, but live it came alive because we were really changing everything up on the spot, which is how I like to do it. I think that's the essence of life, right? Isn't it a good improvisation? I mean, you should be willing to lend yourself to this at any level of social discourse, because as much as you study and prepare and chart your life out for one thing or another, there always are some surprises handed to you along the way by whatever, whomever, the hand that is dealt. And, it keeps you on your toes. So therefore, I think honing your improvisational skills at any level is a good thing. And I do love to improvise, hence these 20-minute improvised solo guitar pieces, which I've changed up enough in the time doing it so that hopefully they don't get boring to you. But to me, they're like, George's old brown shoe. They're a comfortable shoe for me to fit into, to play without too much preparation. And, it's fun to see what I can bring out of the changes, especially with some of these effects, which shift things around in real time and whatnot. Speed them up, run them backwards, that's the way I like it. So that, anyway, we're excited about this record coming out. And so we put finishing touches on the package and the Zoom call. And it's very exciting. So this will be the first release out under my name partially since a year ago when The Essential Gary Lucas came out. Here that is again, a beautiful package by Steve Byram, a double CD that covers 40 years of music making and recording on my end with various projects. And I tried to gather the troops as much as possible, pick out high points, what I think are high points. But so mention a few times, that it shifts from time to time, and then I'm always second guessing myself, like, darn, I should have put that thing on there, and well, maybe they'll discover it on Spotify or whatever. But this is a good way to get people, I'd say, into my work who really just know me as a shadowy figure on the underground who once might have worked with Jeff Buckley or Captain Beef. I know I've been out there assiduously trying to maintain as high a profile as possible in the recording and playing atmosphere. I guess that's how we put it best, and I intend to keep doing it until, it's time for me to shake off these mortal coils and shuffle off to Buffalo, but no, I intend to have a good time on the way doing it. And let's see, there's some gigs coming up, actually. Let's hope these don't get canceled. February 1st, which is Chinese New Year, the first night of the Year of the Tiger. I'm playing at Joe's Pub, one of my favorite places to play. I must have played there, I don't know, 30, 40 times since they opened their doors in the public theater. I think it was about 96, 97, so probably more. all sorts of iterations, duos, Gods and Monsters, various projects with special guests, lots of stuff. So Fei Yang, my partner of several years now, mainland Chinese artist who is a erhu virtuoso, two-string violin, and a great vocalist, will be doing The Edge of Heaven with a lighting design by Christopher Anton. I'm sorry Jason Candler is not going to be able to be there. He's still recuperating from some stuff, but he's on the mend, so hopefully it won't be too long before he'll be playing saxophone again, hopefully. And we'll be doing a couple of the Edge of Heaven songs that were out already, and we have a volume 2 and a volume 3 in the can of really good stuff. Now, one of them, which is our cover in Mandarin Chinese of All Along the Watchtower by Bob Dylan, is on the Essential Gary Lucas as a teaser for the full album. We'll definitely be doing that, as well as some other goodies. Okay, so that's that. And then I've got a booking through Bang on a Can organization with the great Nona Hendricks on our World of Captain Beefheart project. This is the scaled down 5-piece version, sorry. Me, Nona, Jesse Krakow, Jordan Shapiro on keyboards, Jesse on bass, and Richard Dworkin on drums. We'll be playing over the last weekend in April. There's a festival that Bang on a Can is putting on in Brooklyn called Long Play. And I'm looking forward to that. I'll certainly inform you of the precise date, time, and venue. But it's still being formulated, but that's happening. And there's other gigs in the works, but again, we'll see how things play out. I hope to be playing as much as possible. I'm ready for that 4th booster. I, of all people, I've got autoimmune issues up the wazoo, so I qualify. I'll be checking out the various possibilities in New York, because apparently the efficacy of the vaccines have a diminishing return. I hope this isn't true, but it might well be true, so that we're going to need multiple boosters, as the 6-month limit that they put on this before you need another shot seems to diminish to 4 months the more you get boosted. So we're all excited about all these possibilities, and anyway, in the meantime, I hope I've entertained you. I try to maintain a high level of professionalism in these things, don't I? And I'll see you again, on Thursday. And until then, keep your lamps trimmed and burning. And don't take any wooden nickels. I love you.